I received a comment from a mom. She was basically asking, how do you reconcile with our children this idea of not having rules around food when in fact there are healthy and unhealthy foods? So I'm going to address this. What does no rules around food mean for our kids, and what does it not mean for our kids? So let's start by talking about what no rules around food does not mean for your kids, okay? This does not mean that you give your kids endless access to sugar and quote unquote junk food. This does not mean that you allow your kids to also always pick what they want to eat. Kids do need structure. And so here are the things that I mean when we want to implement this with our kids, okay? We want to provide nutrition-packed meals. We want to provide structure around meal times, having meals at a consistent time, offering a variety of foods, and having no distractions at meals. So not eating in front of the television, but really allowing our kids to intentionally focus on their food and how it's making them feel. We want to talk about the nutritional value that food can give us. So, oh my gosh, when we drink milk or eat broccoli, we're giving our bodies calcium. Let's look at what calcium does to build strong bones. That sort of conversation. We can start to expand our kids' knowledge of what food can do for their bodies and how food is fuel. We also want to enjoy treats and savory foods around our kids without guilt. We can talk about how amazing it is that we get to have birthday cake or that cheesecake and it's just so delicious. And then the biggest thing is that we want to encourage our kids to pay attention to how they feel when they are eating. Get your kids to start noticing that. Now, here are some things to avoid. Avoid forcing your child to eat. If you have your structure set up for snack times and meal times, you offer the food and they get to decide whether or not they're going to eat it. You also want to avoid forcing your child to finish everything on their plate. This is disconnecting them from paying attention to their own hunger and fullness cues. And we want to avoid talking about calories. We want to avoid talking about weight gain and how food can make us gain weight. We want to avoid talking about bad versus good food. Food does not make us bad. It doesn't make us good. Basically, avoid discussions that bring shame and guilt into their relationship with food, and also avoid talk about exercise for the purpose of making our bodies smaller. We want to encourage exercise because it makes us strong, because it builds strong bones, because it builds strong muscles. We can feel better in our minds and in our bodies when we exercise, and also it feels good. Again, point your kids back to how moving their bodies makes them feel versus how moving their bodies can shrink their bodies.